Dear sunset lovers, sunset is that natural phenomena which, even though we experience every day, it still appears so magical to us and never twice the same. Because of the spheric shape of the earth, we have the optical illusion as if the sun makes a downward trajectory in the sky toward the horizon, and during this time, the sun's light gets broken into so many different colors when the sun rays pierce through the lower and denser Earth's atmosphere. This is the golden hour when, for a short time at the end of each day, and when the weather conditions allow it, the sky turns into an immense kaleidoscope of mesmerizing dancing colors. Sunset has this strange, like yoga meditation effect on our senses by bringing peace, calmness, and relaxation to us in a very finely balanced equilibrium. At the sunset time, we purposely make an effort to be outside and enjoy this spectacular miracle of nature. It is not by accident that in many cultures of the world at sunset is the tea time when, either alone or with friends and family, we like to enjoy a moment of peace and forgetfulness. Depending on the season, the atmospheric conditions, and the landscape location, wherever we may be at that time, at seasides, high mountains, or vast deserts, there will always be some spectacular, colorful show in the sky for the eye to enjoy. It may seem so strange to us now that it took humanity such a long time, not until Copernicus and Galileo in 16th and 17th centuries, to understand that the sunrise and the sunset phenomena are occurring because of the spheric shape of the Earth and its continuous 24 hours axial rotation on its perpetual yearly cycle around the sun. A very interesting psychological study relates the sunset timing to the human biological clock built in our brain since prehistorical times, which prepares us to get to sleep at sunset. Based on this study, it is suggested that people who suffer from sleep deprivation would get better sleep time if they exercise watching the sunset for 5 to 15 minutes every day. There are similarly spectacular, colorful horizon sceneries during sunrise and sunset, but it is only during the sunset when we see couples immersed in such love affection who motionless hold hands or lean toward each other and almost stop breathing for the time being as the sun disappears on the horizon. Thinking about it, why making love is worded as sleeping together? Could it be because of the love-inspiring feelings we get from the sunset, which also clicks our built-in biological clock of going to sleep after sunset and making love at night? Nevertheless, the sunset is that time of the day when we have the special opportunity to experience a spectacle of dazzling colors in the sky as they gradually transform from the very bright to the darker and darker ones. And when the day turns to night, we continue to hold for some time in our thoughts the colorful magic of the sunset. Sunset greetings to all of you, dear friends. A beautiful sunset has the power to make us forget, even for a brief moment, about our life regrets, failures, and disappointments. And also has the power to inspire us for chasing a new dream or creating a new relationship. A sunset of dazzling colors maybe can influence enough our senses to trigger to us the thought of starting a relationship, but it cannot help us with sustaining it and making it grow, because the sunset's hypnotic effect on us cannot help with fixing any of our very complex temperamental shortcomings as humans. All what sunset may leave us with is a thought of wonder, like, what did just happen? And when we return back to reality, we are again the same humanly complexes of lacking personalities with unfulfilled desires, and not so rarely with very little self-motivation and inner security. Even the most dazzling colorful sunset would be nothing but a distant scenic decor at a moment when if even a single and not ill-intended but wrongly said word could shake the entire structure of a relationship and may instantly create a crack that gradually becomes a gigantic canyon between the two souls whom the sunset may had previously inspired to get together. Based on the astronomical prediction that the Earth will continue to revolve around itself and the Sun for some 4 billion years from now, it would be an easy guess that perhaps there will be millions and millions of sunsets, which could be moments of inspirations and dissolutions to whatever kind of intelligent beings who may inhabit the Earth at that time. Sometimes we may wish that we had remained children forever and being taken care of, rather than growing up and becoming adults with responsibilities which very often we have such a hard time to deal with, even if being surrounded by a splendid sunset. Still, we have to be very grateful to the sunset's effect to our emotions and thoughts, which even for a very short moment in time can inspire us and make us feel like living in the realm of some kind of the most imaginary perfection. I wish to all of you sunset-inspired friends out there, good night, sleep with colorful dreams. What is sunset's influence to love inspirations and love relations? The internet is saturated with affectionate camera shots of sunset sceneries with happy couples watching the sunset as they are holding hands or leaning toward each other and kissing in front of the sun. Those would all be cases of already established love relations, and the sunset seems to stimulate love affections to couples when they are watching it. What about pre-established love status of people and the sunset love-inspiring phenomena? We would be curious to know of any statistics of sunset's influence to love relations of people anywhere in the world. There are sunset viewpoints at any given moment in time at some geographical location on Earth. The timing of sunset occurrences changes every day at most of the global coordination points, but it stays the same in the equator parallel, where the day-night time is divided by 12 hours each, and the sunset and the sunrise always occur at 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. The northern and southern polar sunsets are especially unique because of the seasonal exposure of those Earth's surfaces to the sun, resulting on 6 months at a time of daylight and night sky. There we could observe the frozen sunset, which occurs once a year. How could sunset, if so, may in any way relate to love life of humans? Love making, or otherwise spoken as sleeping together, just as the word says it, is mostly an evening and nighttime activity on our life. Could this mean that people who live on the lower parallels of the globe during the very long night seasons devote more time to love making than the rest of the world? Would there be any known statistics of love making during shorter nights in summer and longer ones in winter? For the most part of the documented history, people in many cultures of the world were destined to condition their love life to prearranged marriages, where the economic status of each family would be decisive to a prearranged marriage agreement as forms of political and social interests. This is still true even today as a social culture in many countries of the world. On the island of Vanuatu in South Pacific Ocean, the prearranged marriage is a social custom. It is an unwritten law that the groom's family must give a certain number of pigs to the bride's family in order to seal a marriage deal. The word goes as no pigs, no wife. This is such an established culture that the pig tusks have become national symbol and are embedded on the national flag. And the pig tusks have currency value in Vanuatu. Even though at this particular Earth location occur gorgeous sunsets almost every day. The fact of the prearranged marriages would conclude any argument on the sunset and love relation on prearranged marriage there. What about the old traditions of Chinese emperors and Arab sultans having hundreds of wives? This is true today too. Based on the 2018 records, the king of Bafut in northern Cameroon in Africa had 100 wives and 500 children. Most of them inherited from his father as part of the traditional custom. Another interesting tribal culture at an African desert location is the Rain Celebration Festival, which would occur roughly once in every 7 years. The highlight of this festival is the extra marriage love among the tribal members, judged by a jury of elders. Married men from different tribes would compete among each other on basis of their looks and athletic skills to win the right to choose any of the married women from any of other tribes to make love with. Consecutively, the winner's own wives could then do the same by making love to any man of their choice from any of the tribes. There are several other variants of this African tribal ritual. These are rituals from very dry African regions with no clouds in the sky and with relatively similar sunset sceneries every day with clear sky and not much color variations on the sunset and possibly not much love inspiration from the sunset for the young at heart and body there. But what is more interesting is the fact that the highest percentage of birth rate among all nations occurs on just a dozen African countries. The most imagination-triggering occurrence we could find when looking for any connections between the sunset and love relations would perhaps be the spring break event occurring every year in Florida, USA, where thousands of university students go for a week vacation mostly in search of love inspiration and relation opportunities. If any statistics could be taken out of this, would predominantly be of very short-lived love relations and with no telling what the sunset's influence may have been on them. What are then the love affection moments of couples in front of mesmerizing sunsets, which we see on the bazillion internet photos and videos? Are they just momentary inspirations of our own artistic spirit, triggered by the beauty of the sunset colors? Are they perhaps reflections of our own feelings about the beauty we seek in life and love? Leaving you with these puzzling questions, I wish you all, dear sunset friends and lovers, good night and good love too. If we are alone when watching a spectacular sunset, we experience it differently rather than if we are with our lover. And quite more differently if we are with a group of friends. We could describe those three states of sunset experiences as being in the past, in the future, and in the present. If we are alone when watching a beautiful sunset, most likely, our thoughts will be covered by a veil of nostalgia about memories of past events in our life. We would be staying still with our eyes focused on the horizon, and as if together with the air we breathe the silence around us too. But when we are with our lover, we live in the present and future simultaneously. We may have feelings of joy mixed with thoughts and expectations, encouraged by delicate touches and by words softly spoken in our ear, which leave invisible fingerprint-like marks on the surface of the fragile glass of silence. And being together with a group of friends on a sunset, we would fully live in the present. It would be a time filled with chats, jokes and laughs, and with nothing magical to it, but just real life and maybe at its best, and we probably would not mind much for the many missed sequences of the sun saying farewell to us in words of colors spoken so eloquently. But no matter in what circumstance we may be when watching a colorful sunset, we would still tend to get lost on our mixed thoughts, which would be about anything. Childhood or first love memories, people whom we have known and who are no longer among us, events we experienced during the day, and about our future plans, projects, and hopes. Any bits of pieces of our life get twirled together and without any explanation or meaning jump from one to another as if we are simultaneously living in so many different realities. These thoughts will stay with us until we lay on the bed to get to sleep, and for a long time we continue wandering on our thoughts until the sleep slowly drags us into an entirely unknown realm of existence, when in our dreams we become characters of times and events where the reality and the fantasy become the same. Dream beautifully tonight, sunset friends and lovers.